Hey, this is Tom at Talon Guitar Works. I'm a repair facility in Southwest Florida in Englewood, section of Port Charlotte. And today I've got Martin D35, one of my favorite acoustic guitars on the bench. And the reason it's here is if you could see this thing is brand new and its action is way up there. Using the StewMac gauge, I got 145 at the 12th fret using the handy dandy digital StewMac string height gauge. So the first thing I'm going to do on this thing after I check that, because customer said, hey man, great guitar, action is like unbelievably high. So I'm going to put the capo on the first fret. I'm going to get my .012 feeler gauge out. And I'm going to come down to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th, the 8th fret. I'm going to slide that feeler gauge under. I'm going to go down to the last fret and push it. And I've got quite a bit of space under there. So the first thing I'm going to do is give the truss rod a little bit of tightening to create that amount of relief in the neck. And to tighten these truss rods, you're going to go clockwise. And I like saying clockwise instead of left or right. Left is loose, right is tight. However, if people are a little dyslexic, they kind of mess that up. So clockwise, it's always the same. Left and right is too, but. There we go. All right, so that was about a half turn on the truss rod. I'm going to let that sit for a minute or two while I'm checking that out. And that is still not going to bring that action down to where he needs it. Now, you know, people are saying, you know, 0.075, 0.076, 0.078 on these actions down here. Let me see where we're at now from where we started. And 0, 0. I am 0.040 lower than I was. So I'm going to give the truss rod a little bit more turn in here, and then we're going to check the relief. That's a quarter turn right there. And there's another quarter right there. I'm going to back that out. All right. The hardest thing about this StewMac gauge is zeroing it, because it really doesn't want to zero. All right, I am getting closer. I'm at 0.090 now. I'm going to go with another turn on the truss rod. You know, some of the other things, this is a brand new guitar, so I checked it because I check all new guitars. I had a Luna come in that was brand new that had a belly in it that the guy had to send back. But I checked the guitar, lay a straight edge right across below the bridge, and that straight edge should be flat. The other thing is check the neck relief, or the neck, to make sure it doesn't need to be reset, by laying your straight edge across the fretboard and seeing where it strikes. Now it should be close to the top of the bridge is where your straight edge strikes on this. When it starts getting further down on the bridge body itself, that's when you're getting into neck reset territory. Now the funny thing about neck reset territory with Taylors, Martins, you have to send them back to Taylor or Martin for that, or it voids the warranty. Okay. Now this is saying I am too tight at the 8th fret, but I'm making it at the 9th fret. So I've already checked the string height at the 1st fret, and it should be 0.012, 0.012, which it is, on the B and the high E, and then 0.014 on the D, which it is, 0.016, or sorry, that was on the G. On the D is 0.016, the A 0.018, that's good, and on the E 0.020, and that's their settings from the factory. So now we're going to tune this thing up, and we're going to check to see if I have to loosen this neck. And when you tune these things up, bring it up to tune. Don't try and go past it and bring it down. If you do that, you're not going to be as accurate. If you go over, don't just back it back down and say, oh, well, it's good. Back it way down below the note you're looking for, and then bring it up to tune. Your guitar will stay in tune a lot better like that. That's fun. That is just amazing. This thing's perfectly intonated. So, let's see what we got now. We're still at 0.105, which is high, even for an acoustic guitar. So what we have now is we have the bridge or the saddle to work with that's mounted inside the bridge. So if I loosen these strings up a little bit, loosen them up just enough to get these pins out. Okay, we got all 6 pins out. All right, so what I'm going to do now, and part of this is going to be on video, part of it's going to be off video. So I'm going to take my .05 lead mechanical pencil, and I'm going to strike a line right on the saddle where it meets the bridge. Okay. Then I'm going to use my curved pliers to lift this out. All right, by striking that line on there, that tells me what the bridge height was above the saddle from the line up and how much space I have to come down. Now, I cannot take all that off and say, oh, it's going to be good, or it's going to be sitting on the saddle and the bridge simultaneously, if you follow me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure, and this is another Uncle Wally-ism here, is I'm going to take my digital calipers, turn them on, zero them out, and I'm going to measure at the low E side and write that down. I've got 0.335 inches. And I'm going to put bass on that, and then the treble side we're going to measure. And I've got 0.305. Now the reason you're measuring these two sides, and you're going to check this while you're sanding it, is you want to equally take material off and make sure you're maintaining the flat surface on this saddle to lower the action. If you take off too much on one side or the other, you could create a buzz. Most buzzes on acoustic guitars come from the nut or the saddle. And then the third spot to look is at the frets, but most acoustics are set up really high. So I'm going to step away. I've got to put this on a machine. You're going to hear that thing kick up. I'm going to take it down. I'm going to measure my saddle again, and I'll show it to you. Okay, it got a little noisy in the shop, but now I'm down to 0.25 and 0.27 on my saddle, which is equal to the 0.30, 0.33 when I started out. And I still have plenty of saddle above the bridge now on this. Now, if you do go and take your saddle down and you take it down too far, you can get another saddle online relatively cheap. You know, so mark it, check it often, but like I said, if you do take it down too low, it's not going to be that expensive to replace it. Now, the shop that sold him this was up in upstate New York, and they did tell him that he could bring this guitar back and they would set it up after he played it, because when he bought it, he knew it was high then. And, you know, that was pretty cool of him to say that. Say, you know, hey, bring it back in. However, right now he's in Florida, so that doesn't help him. There's always one ball in that doesn't want to go in. There we go. And putting this capo on the neck to control these strings. Always a great idea if you've got to do this and got to do just a little bit of work down here, because you can get by. All right, now I've got all my strings seated. I'm going to take my tuner back up. A little bit above it there. Okay. Almost there. And there we have a winner. All right, I'm going to get another string for this Martin. We just popped it at the tuning machine. All right, I'm going to dig up that 12 and put it on, but in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and check this out and give you what the reading is right now. We're at 68, 70, 68 to 70 now on the setup. So I'm going to go back off on the truss rod just a hair. About 1/8 of a turn back, and we should be good to go now. And I'll get that 0.12 string on there, and we'll get this thing tuned up and out of here. So anyway, that's it. We got this thing back to where it's supposed to be. The intonation's fine on it. These are really high quality instruments, the Martin D35. It is my favorite acoustic guitar, and we're going to get this set up and get it back to him. But if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps out. Every little bit helps. And we'll see you next time. Bye.